50 historical photos that reveal painful truths. In 1957, Dorothy Counts, a brave young girl, became one of the first black students to attend an all-white school in America. In this powerful photo, she walks with quiet dignity while surrounded by hostile classmates who mock and taunt her. A solemn display of 58,307 dog tags, representing every U.S. soldier who lost their life in the Vietnam War, was created in 1988 and hangs in silent tribute at the Harold Washington Library Center in Chicago. In 1904, a shocking image reveals a forgotten chapter of history, a human zoo in America. Filipino tribespeople, numbering 1,300, were displayed at the St. Louis World's Fair, treated as mere objects of curiosity. In 1904, a heartbreaking image captures a young Filipino girl, bound by ropes, placed as an attraction in Coney Island Zoo. Surrounded by monkeys and lizards, she endured the humiliation of spectators throwing peanuts at her. A modern photograph depicts the devastating destruction of the war in Ukraine. The conflict has not only reduced buildings to rubble, but has also claimed countless innocent lives. In 1992, an extraordinary photo was taken during a Ku Klux Klan rally in Gainesville, Georgia. It shows a strange juxtaposition of innocence and hate. A young Klan child approaches a black state trooper, intrigued by the riot shield he was holding. The child reached out to touch the reflection of their own shadow on the shield. In 1915, an image captures two Armenian counter-militias fighting against the Ottoman forces during the Armenian genocide. On June 18, 1964, a shocking photo captures James Brock, a motel manager in St. Augustine, Florida, pouring acid into the Monson Motor Lodge swimming pool. His goal? To drive out black swimmers protesting segregation. From 1890 in Germany comes a haunting image of a woman with mental illness, forced to stand against a wall in a crucifix position. At the time, this was considered a legitimate treatment for mental health conditions. A poignant photo captures a Croatian soldier standing before a wall during wartime. Written on the wall are the words, "God, if I die young, please send me to heaven because I've already lived in hell." In 1948, a photo shows George McLaurin, the first African-American student admitted to the University of Oklahoma. Seated apart from his white classmates, he endured segregation even in education. This haunting image shows thousands of wedding rings stolen by the Nazis from Holocaust victims. The rings, along with watches and other valuables, were stripped from the victims to extract gold. From the tragic events of September 11, 2001, this heart-wrenching photo captures a dog being carried from the rubble of the World Trade Center. The terrorist attacks that destroyed the Twin Towers claimed thousands of lives. In April 1960, a powerful photograph shows Martin Luther King Jr. with his young son, removing a burned cross from the front lawn of their Atlanta home. This disturbing image tells the story of Blanche Monnier, a French woman who was locked in a small room by her wealthy mother and brother for 26 years. When police rescued her, she was malnourished, filthy, and had not seen sunlight for over 2 decades. This photo from 1942 tells the tragic story of Zita Seuss, one of the countless children kidnapped by the Nazi regime. Considered desirable, she was stripped of her identity and sent for adoption under a new name. After the war, Zita ended up in an orphanage, but she was never able to reunite with her real family. On May 10, 1945, a Japanese family is captured in this poignant image as they return to their home in Seattle, Washington, from the Hunt Relocation Center in Idaho. This haunting photograph sheds light on the Magdalene asylums, also known as laundries or reform homes. These institutions, notorious in Ireland, imprison women and girls deemed unfit by society. During World War II, in 1940, Europe lived under the constant fear of chemical warfare. This unsettling photograph shows nurses testing bizarre gas masks designed for children and even newborns. In June 1962, on the blood-soaked streets of Puerto Cabello, Venezuela, a wounded government rifleman is cradled by Father Luis Manuel Padilla. A chilling photo from 1945 shows emaciated prisoners at the Ebensee concentration camp in Austria. Built in 1943 by the Nazis, This camp forced inmates into grueling labor, digging military tunnels under inhumane conditions. On September 6, 1951, a weary Korean girl is seen carrying her younger brother on her back as they walk past a halted M26 tank during the Korean War. In 1897, in Stockholm, Sweden, two men's mugshots were taken as they were arrested for their romantic relationship. This heartbreaking photo highlights the persecution faced by LGBTQ+ individuals in an era where their love was criminalized. From the depths of the Great Depression around 1932, a photograph of an unnamed man captures a face etched with hardship and despair. A stark image from the early 1900s shows Belgian coal miners crammed into a claustrophobic elevator after a grueling day of labor. Covered in soot and sweat, their expressions reveal the brutal and dangerous realities of their work. Taken on April 26, 1986, immediately after the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, this photograph was captured by Kiev photographer Igor Kostin. Most of his images were destroyed by radiation exposure, but this lone, blurry picture survived. Servants, be obedient to your masters. This altered Bible was created for Caribbean slaves, deliberately removing any mention of freedom. In 1944, this haunting image from the Auschwitz concentration camp shows Hungarian Jews being selected by Nazi officers for the gas chambers. This extraordinary photo, taken during nuclear testing in the 1950s, was captured by Harold Edgerton's Rapatronic camera in 1/100 millionth of a second. The eerie image encapsulates the raw, destructive power of nuclear weapons. This photo from 1998 was taken moments before a deadly explosion. The red Vauxhall Cavalier car concealed a bomb, and though the camera was later recovered from the rubble, the man and child seen in the image miraculously survived. A clock stopped at 8:15 a.m. stands as an enduring witness to the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in August 1945. From the Korean War in 1951, this heart-wrenching photograph shows an Indian Army ambulance driver clenching his fist in agony. His leg was severely injured in an explosion, and his pain is visible in every muscle of his face. In 1922, young women, known as the Radium Girls, were photographed using radium paint without any safety warnings. They were told that the paint was harmless and instructed to sharpen their brushes with their lips while painting watch dials. Many women even applied the paint to their nails, faces, and teeth. Tragically, the paint was toxic and it ultimately claimed their lives. In the early days of World War II, this haunting photo was taken in the Rab concentration camp, silently documenting the suffering, torture, and human tragedy faced by the prisoners. In 1918, during the brutal years of World War I, this photograph shows nurses working in hospital wards between bomb craters in France. In 1939, a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden, New York, brought together 20,000 Americans in support of fascist ideologies. During the 1918 Finnish Rebellion, Red rebels were captured and executed at a workhouse in Varkaus. In 1915, amidst the chaos of the Gallipoli campaign, an Australian soldier is seen carrying his wounded comrade to safety. In 1945, after the devastating atomic bombing of Nagasaki, this photo captures the aftermath of the bomb, showing the immense loss of life and the destruction caused by nuclear warfare. During the Korean War in 1951, Chinese prisoners of war, desperate and pleading for their lives. In 1961, a woman stood by the Berlin Wall in the western sector, waiting for hours to see her friends and family trapped in East Berlin. In World War II, a photo taken at a London railway station shows children being evacuated, fleeing the bombings of London. In the mid-20th century, African Americans were forced to drink from colored water fountains. This photo was taken in Hiroshima, where the steps of the Sumitomo Bank show flash burn marks left by the atomic bomb blast. In 1945, the first atomic bomb, codenamed the Gadget, was created. In 1928, members of the Ku Klux Klan marched in a parade down Pennsylvania Avenue. On June 23, 1940, the Nazis invaded France, and this photo shows Adolf Hitler and his entourage walking near the Eiffel Tower. In September 13, 1926, another disturbing Ku Klux Klan parade took place. further showing the group's influence and the widespread racism that plagued the nation at the time. This haunting image from 1862 captures Peter, a slave who endured unimaginable brutality. His back is covered with the horrific scars of a whip, a punishment inflicted on him with relentless cruelty. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button. Let us know which video you liked the most by commenting. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos and easy viewing. Make sure to follow our Facebook page as well. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.